Tonight, fire and explosions in Hong Kong. Police clash with protesters after an all-night standoff on one of the most violent weekends yet. Prince Andrew on his ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite.
The interview turned PR nightmare for the palace. He's out hundreds of thousands of dollars after his bank wired it to fraudsters.
I don't do this every day. They do.
Now he's going public.
Nice to meet you.
And the Sunday interview with Maestro Fresh Wes. The godfather of Canadian hip-hop gets his place in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. This is The National. An explosive standoff with Hong Kong police at a university campus has led to protesters trapped, police forcing them to choose between a last stand and a last chance. There was a moment of panic at Hong Kong Polytechnic University, burning as police rushed the entrance. Hundreds of protesters barricaded inside, battling to hold ground. The status of an offer to leave peacefully unclear after police threatened to meet violence with lethal force. Tina Lovegreen shows us a Hong Kong poised to enter a dangerous new phase.
The images from inside the university apocalyptic. Protesters fighting through the haze of smoke and fire in an effort to keep police from storming in. The protesters had barricaded themselves inside the Hong Kong Polytechnic University since Friday, battling through barrages of tear gas and water cannons as they continued calling for free elections and other major reforms.
I want the democracy and freedom will come Hong Kong, but it seems so far away from us. But still, we would like to fight at the last moments to see this, so I'm not scared now.
The clashes triggering this video message from the president of the university to protesters.
If the protesters do not initiate the use of force, the police will not initiate the use of force.
But demonstrators may not trust the message after this ultimatum from police. Warning they will use live ammunition if the clashes continue. Following 5 months of unrest, this weekend was one of the most violent yet. Earlier in the day, protesters fought with bows and arrows. These images shared by Hong Kong police showing a media liaison officer shot in the leg. For some in Hong Kong, this also ominous. Soldiers from China's People's Liberation Army cleaning up the streets. What seems like a non-threatening act, but it's only the second time Chinese troops have been seen on Hong Kong streets since 1997.
This is a signal, warning Hong Kong people that the troops are just next to you, right? And we are now sending the troops, and we are ready to take drastic measures. So this is, I think, the strongest signal so far.
And those warning signals are mounting as Hong Kong heads to local elections in a week. Tina Lovegreen, CBC News, Vancouver.
And in Iran, there are reports of gunfire amid widespread protests there in response to a recently announced hike in fuel prices. Drivers abandoned cars on major roads and protesters allegedly set fires, but images and information are scarce. The government has shut down internet access across the country and closed border crossings. The country's supreme leader acknowledged there have been deaths and denounced some protesters as thugs. Prince Andrew woke up to a storm of criticism today after he gave a television interview to address the allegation he had had sex with an underage teen. The prince was trying to control the damage, but instead he seemed to cause more. Not one single word of remorse, no sweat and no regret. Just a few of the many British headlines calling him out today. Shannon Martin shows us what the prince said.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
49 minutes from start to finish, Prince Andrew aiming to clear his name and tarnished reputation. Instead, what many found particularly offensive, The prince's repeated refusals to express any regret over his years of partying with Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced billionaire sex trafficker who died in prison.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite.
And then there's the accusations from American Virginia Giuffre. She says she was forced by Epstein to have sex with the Duke of York on 3 occasions, once when she was just 17.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
So what of this photograph then? The prince admits it is him, but says it could have been doctored. In court documents, Giuffre has sworn to other specifics as a teen dancing with the prince at this London club. Impossible, he says. He was with his kids at this pizza place. As for her claims he was sweating profusely on the dance floor,
I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at.
the reaction from royal watchers, I expected a train wreck. That was a plane crashing into an oil tanker, causing a tsunami, triggering a nuclear explosion level bad.
If he was thinking it was going to go away, it certainly isn't going to go away. It's there for the world to see.
Because the interview took place inside Buckingham Palace, some have speculated the Queen was on board, but not necessarily.
I don't think you should read anything more into that other than the Queen gave her permission to use that room. I don't think the Queen would have given her approval for that had she known exactly what was coming. And I think she'll be pretty horrified by how that interview has gone.
So far, there's been no official response from the palace, and insiders say don't expect one. Shannon Martin, CBC News, Toronto.
Now to a CBC News investigation revealing new details tonight about sexual abuse by clergy within the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Vancouver. The Fifth Estate has obtained internal information which shows the Archdiocese has records of dozens of abuse cases in its jurisdiction, many of those involving children. It's all part of a bigger investigation by Fifth Estate host Gillian Findlay into abuse and accountability in the church. And Gillian, no Catholic entity in Canada has ever made information like this public.
No, Ian, it comes from a review of the diocese's own internal archives. And what the review found is this: 36 cases in Vancouver of known sexual abuse by clergy going back to the 1950s, 26 of them involving children. And interestingly, 3 cases of priests who fathered children. They're the findings of a case review committee that was struck by Vancouver's Archbishop Michael Miller.
And that happened after a bombshell report came out of Pennsylvania.
That's right. In 2018, a grand jury in that state forced access to Catholic Church archives there and found names not only of 300 priests whom the church itself had deemed credibly accused, but also all the ways church officials had covered up the abusers over the years. It was a big scandal. And to his credit, Archbishop Miller decided perhaps there was value in documenting what had happened in his diocese. From what we can tell, as you say, it is the first time any diocese in Canada has done this.
And you came across this information in the course of making a documentary about sexual abuse survivors trying to hold the church to account.
That's right. And one of the people we were following ended up sitting on Archbishop Miller's committee. Leona Huggins was abused by her parish priest in Vancouver as a teenager. Having helped assemble that list of 36 names, she's pushing the Archbishop to make them public so that other victims might also come forward.
I think that the church has an ethical and moral responsibility to reveal those names, to shed light on the legacy, because some of these men are still esteemed within the communities that they work.
Of course, all of this raises important questions about what church officials knew about abuse they acknowledge happened and what they did. We've learned that some priests, including the one who abused Leona Huggins, ended up working in a different jurisdiction, and that victims were sometimes paid money after signing non-disclosure agreements. In a letter, Vancouver's Archdiocese confirmed that settlements were certainly paid, but denied knowing anything about offending priests being transferred.
And so, as I understand it, the committee sent its report to the Archbishop in July, but he hasn't made any of this public.
No, that's right, Ian, not yet. Archbishop Miller declined to be interviewed for our documentary, but his people now tell us that some information about the Case Review Committee's findings and recommendations will be released later this week. So stay tuned.
All right, Gillian, thank you. And you can see Gillian's entire investigation online at cbc.ca/fifth and on CBC Gem. Now on to a Go Public investigation into how email frauds are costing Canadians, leading to complaints banks should be doing a better job protecting clients. A Calgary man was duped and asked his bank to wire $800,000 to the scammers. And as Erica Johnson tells us, that is exactly what the bank did.
This isn't how Rod McLeod had planned to spend Calgary's colder months. He and his wife had hoped to be vacationing here as proud new owners of this California condo. But instead, his bank wired $800,000 for the condo to fraudsters in Denver.
It's like picking a scab. It hurts. Over and over again.
Back in October of 2018, McLeod received an email, supposedly from his realtor, giving new wiring instructions. He didn't know it was a fraud, forwarded it to his bank. Seidel, one of dozens of private banks that cater to people with big bank accounts. When Seidel got that email, it was flagged suspicious message. The retiree didn't notice, but says it should have been a red flag for his bank.
I don't do this every day. You know, this is something that's totally new to me. They do.
Fraudsters hacking into emails, impersonating realtors and other business types, tricking people and their banks into redirecting wire transfers. It's a multi-billion-dollar problem in North America. This former FBI agent turned private investigator was hired by McLeod. He was the first to notice the suspicious message warning on the fraudsters' emails. Says banks in Canada and the U.S. need new laws.
To make it a requirement of the banks to protect their customers and to ask certain things on every wire transfer and to be on the lookout a little better for this sort of thing.
McLeod is now suing his bank, alleging it should have done a better job of safeguarding his money instead of putting his snowbird dreams on ice.
And Erica joins us now. What's the bank saying about all of this?
Well, Ian, we asked Seidel for an interview and it declined our request, and it also hasn't responded yet to the allegations in the lawsuit. However, the CEO of Seidel has told his client that he's sorry for the client's loss, but he doesn't feel the bank is under any obligation to reimburse him because that fraudulent email initially came from Rod McLeod.
And so it appears no clear legal requirement for banks to verify that the money's going to the right person.
No, there is paperwork that has to be done. So you have to get the name and address of the sender and receiver, for instance. But right now, there's no legal obligation for a bank to verify that the money is actually going to the intended recipient and not to criminals.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.
And we did get a written statement from Seidel. The CEO says the bank followed industry practices for wire transfers and complied with its clients' written instructions. If you have a story or a tip for our Go Public team, you can get in touch with us at gopublic@cbc.ca. Well, Washington heading into what is promising to be another blockbuster week of testimony, the second week of public impeachment hearings. This after Republicans lost another state election. As Paul Hunter tells us, every development, big or small, seems to be taking on added significance.
When it comes to Donald Trump on the matter of impeachment, unsurprisingly, it depends who you ask and to which political party you belong.
The crimes and the offenses that have been detailed in this testimony are absolutely damning.
I think the evidence is crumbling. I think the Democrats know they're in trouble on this.
It's still all about that key question. Did Trump abuse the presidency by leveraging U.S. military aid trying to pressure Ukrainian President Zelensky into finding dirt on Trump rival Joe Biden? Said the most powerful Democrat on Capitol Hill today, Trump is worse than Richard Nixon, who famously quit before he could be impeached.
At some point, Richard Nixon cared about the country enough to recognize that this could not continue.
Which brings us to this coming week and a potential game changer. Among those set to testify, Gordon Sondland, Wednesday. A big-time Trump supporter. He's the U.S. ambassador to the European Union, who apparently called Trump in July to talk about Ukraine, with Trump said to have been overheard pressing hard for a Biden investigation. say Democrats. When Sondland recounts that call this week, it's time for him to choose a side.
Mr. Sondland has to decide whether his primary loyalty is to America or whether his primary loyalty is to the President of the United States.
Another question, where now lies the loyalty of U.S. voters? Last night in Louisiana, a Democrat was re-elected governor in a pro-Trump state, and in the face of hard campaigning for the Republican candidate by Trump himself. It's the second time this month Trump has failed to sway enough voters in a statewide contest. When results came in, the Democratic winner, tongue-in-cheek, thanked Trump for trying but failing again.
And as for the president, God bless his heart.
The crowd laughed and roared. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Besides Gordon Sondland, 7 other witnesses are set to testify at this week's impeachment hearings. They include the National Security Council's Alexander Vindman, who was on that phone call in question between Trump and Ukraine's president, Kurt Volker, former special representative to Ukraine, and Fiona Hill, a senior director for Russia at the NSC. A few of the highlights to watch for in what could be an even bigger week of testimony. Here's some of the other stories we're following tonight on The National. Venice has been hit with more severe flooding. High tides peaked today at 1.5 meters, the third such tide in a week. Before now, that level has never been reached even twice in 1 year. Back here at home, an inquiry into the deaths of a former Canadian soldier and his family will hear from its first witnesses tomorrow. Almost 3 years ago, Lionel Desmond shot his young daughter, wife, and mother, then himself. Desmond had PTSD and had sought treatment. The inquiry will look into any warning signs and ask why he was able to buy a rifle.
Sleepless nights all week are mostly about this. Don's my guy. I'm in a foxhole with Don, and I've decided to go one way and he another.
And Hockey Night in Canada's Ron MacLean spoke from the heart last night about the forced departure of his co-host Don Cherry over comments that Cherry made on the broadcast last week. Anita Bath is here to break down what MacLean had to say and how it's going over.
Well, Ian, that first intermission opened in a strange new way for fans of Hockey Night in Canada.
After 34 years,
The Coach's Corner is no more.
An emotional message from Ron MacLean.
We are all hurting. I have collapsed 100 times this week, if not more. This one plunged deeply into our hearts, right? You know why? Because it's about relationships.
But that message left some people unsatisfied, saying it sounded like Don Cherry's eulogy.
I love you very much, and we honor you tonight in this last talk about A Coach's Corner.
I thought it was a little bizarre and overwrought.
He still has stood by during a lot of bad moments.
Others are quick to defend MacLean.
I got a sense that he and Don Cherry were close and that he felt very torn by the situation.
I thought Ron was, in a tough spot.
MacLean says he was forced to choose principle over friendship.
MacLean gave more clarity on what happened in the days before the firing. He said there were steps that needed to be taken, and Cherry didn't want to take those steps. MacLean also revealed he has tried to call Cherry, but that call went unanswered. Ian?
Yeah, I was watching last night. It was quite a moment. Thanks, Anita. In health news tonight, decades of medical wisdom are being called into question after a new study suggesting some people with heart disease might be undergoing surgery they don't need. As Jayla Bernstein explains, in many cases, medication may do the trick.
Robin Lobb is 52 years old and has suffered 3 cardiac events.
I felt like I had a bad chest cold, and I'm looking all around my apartment for some icy hot to rub on my chest. And then I realized I couldn't push the bathroom door open.
He received a stent implant 2 years ago to prop open his artery, but he wishes there would have been more discussion about other options.
And they say, we have to tell you the risks. It's 1 in 1,000 that something could go, terribly wrong, which just leaves you, scared.
A study released this weekend looked at more than 5,000 patients, all with ischemia. That's when a coronary artery narrows and blood flow to the heart is reduced. It can cause periodic chest pain. Researchers found stable patients treated only with medication and lifestyle changes were no more at risk of a heart attack or death than those who received stents and bypass surgeries.
For the roughly 25% of patients who undergo these procedures electively, who have no symptoms, we should really stop doing that.
The study doesn't apply to people who are suffering from a heart attack or who have chest pain at rest, and surgery could still improve someone's quality of life.
Those procedures help control symptoms, but I think it's important for patients to understand that it's safe not to undergo these procedures.
This Montreal cardiologist is not surprised. He says some cardiologists have been going in that direction.
I think that doctors and patients should always have a conversation to really understand why we're doing this procedure. I think there's a lot of patients who think that they're going to live longer if you unblock the artery. And I think what we see from this data is that that's not the case.
Those conversations will continue to evolve. Researchers plan to follow the study participants for another 5 years to see whether results shift over the long term. Jayla Bernstein, CBC News, Montreal.
More news ahead on The National. The short video app TikTok is exploding in popularity, but U.S. government agencies are raising red flags over security concerns. What you need to know next. Plus, inside sick kids' intensive care unit, sort of. Why the hospital is giving people a dramatic look inside in an elaborate mock-up of their intensive care ward. But first, as we go to break, an update on a young woman who really struck a chord with Canadians. The first time most of us met Madison Yetman, we knew she didn't have long to live. The 18-year-old from Winnipeg said so in the video she posted online during last month's federal election campaign. She had been diagnosed with terminal cancer and was urging everyone to get out to vote because, as she said,
"If I can find the time to vote, you can find the time to vote."
This morning, Madison's uncle announced her death on Twitter, saying she was stronger than anyone could imagine and left a wonderful mark on this world. Her video has been viewed about 800,000 times. It helped boost the popularity of one of this year's biggest songs.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Young activists use it to get their message out. The NFL to attract a new generation of fans. And even the U.S. Army used it as a controversial recruitment tool. TikTok is one of the fastest growing apps in the world, and it's making a major push into Canada. But as Tashana Reed tells us, it has some U.S. lawmakers and tech companies worried.
I might link my
In as little as 15 seconds, creators lip sync, dance, and perform, all with the hopes of getting noticed. This is TikTok, a Chinese-owned video sharing app with 1.5 billion users worldwide. Trends blow up quickly, from choreographed dance challenges to arts and crafts, and just the plain old silly.
My name's Eric Stroupe, and I'm famous on TikTok.
18-year-old Eric Stroupe is one of Canada's top TikTok creators. His prank videos and comedic skits have attracted 3.6 million followers in 1 year.
It's not like high production. It's like grab your phone, take a video, you post it, and it's just like that feeling of being so connected to somebody and making it so natural. It just feels so good.
He's also making money. Through brand partnerships, Stroupe says he's earned 6 figures. TikTok's user demographic is a sweet spot for advertisers and brands, says this expert.
13 to 24-year-olds are at a time when they're exploring the world, trying to find out what brands they're interested in. And if you catch those users at that stage in their life, they could be a lifetime customer of your product.
It's why American tech companies are trying to get in the game. Facebook is testing a similar short video music app, while Google is eyeing to purchase one. But TikTok isn't without controversy. This month, U.S. lawmakers called for an investigation into the Beijing-based company, citing national security concerns over alleged illegal data collection and censorship.
As they internationalize, they will have to be more transparent, and they will have to answer to local laws in the country that they operate.
TikTok has defended its privacy standards and denies sharing user data with Chinese authorities. The company says it stores all user data in the United States, with backups in Singapore, and say they're not required to comply with Chinese law.
This is your mobile stage.
TikTok's main priority, expansion, and now it's making a push into Canada. At Social Media Week in Toronto, the company's newly appointed Canadian lead made his pitch to marketing and branding executives.
So what on earth is TikTok? I think it's interactive theater.
No mention of controversy here, just a message that TikTok is just getting started. Tashana Reed, CBC News, Toronto.
Up next on The National, a groundbreaking addition to the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Let your backbone slide. Just let it slide. Just let it slide.
Let Your Backbone Slide is the first of its kind to get the distinction, so Andrew met the man behind it, Maestro Fresh Wes, where it all began. The Sunday interview is next.
Oh, yeah. DJ LBT, do it. It's a blood sport, but bills out back. I make your vision go blurry while your brain goes blank into oblivion. Beats from box to box, the bass rocks from blocks and blocks. Let your backbone slide. Just let it slide. Just let it slide.
30 years ago, that song made Canadian music history. Let Your Backbone Slide by Maestro Fresh Wes was the first gold record by a Canadian rapper. Now it's making history again. This Thursday, it will be honored as the first rap song to be inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. Andrew caught up with Maestro Fresh Wes to talk about the meaning of this moment.
This is a throwdown, a showdown. Hell no, I can't slow down. It's gonna go.
Wes Williams, a.k.a. Maestro Fresh Wes. He laid the foundation for today's mega stars of Canadian hip-hop. In 1989, his debut single was the first Canadian rap song certified gold. His success forced a very white, very conservative industry to take notice.
And Maestro Fresh Wes is here with me. It's unbelievable.
I seen the bitter with the sweet.
In the 90s, he continued attracting attention with a unique style that was unabashedly Canadian.
Seen a lot of shame in the game. Seen a lot of pain with the fame. Seen a lot of highs and lows, but that's just the way life goes.
But for Wes Williams, his life has been about more than just music. He's worked as a motivational speaker.
But making history is when you do something and you say something that people remember you years and years and years later.
As an actor.
Welcome to Xavier. How are we treating you so far?
Thank you. Good, yeah. You're the other Mr. D.
Steve!
And he's not done yet. He's always on the lookout for his next project, and of course, he's still having an impact on the scene he helped build. I sat down with Wes Williams earlier this week in the very place the Maestro was born, the Parkway Mall in Scarborough, Ontario. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks for making the time.
All right,
this is your house.
I don't know if it's my house, but it's where I wrote some songs back in the days. Man.
So tell me about that. What did you do here in this mall?
Oh, security for Intercon back in the days, man.
Yeah.
That was like 87, 88. And I took the graveyard shift. That way I could work on my demos.
You took that job so that you could write lyrics?
Because it would be easier for me just to like be there without having to worry about anything and just concentrate on my music, man.
And did anything good come out of your time here?
Well, I wrote a song. I don't know if you heard it. The song was called Let Your Backbone Slide.
Yeah, right. Okay, that was it. Yeah. I'm looking around. There are people staring at you even right now.
Yeah.
But I bet they don't know that this is sort of hallowed ground when it comes to the birth of the Maestro.
Yeah, man. That. Yeah, no doubt. There used to be a Tuxedo Royale. Not too far from it in the mall.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend named R. Smalls. He was like, I used to go by Fresh Wes, Melody MC, AKA Fresh Wes. And he said, Fresh Wes is cool, but you're fresher than Fresh Wes. You need a title. So then I was just thinking for a title, like something to put on top of my name, Then I passed by the Tuxedo Royale that used to be right over there where the Metro is. And I go, yo, Maestro.
Move with the Maestro. You feel high, so it's set. The blend, the crescendo is nice, yo.
I should have started by saying congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Let Your Backbone Slide, inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
First rap song ever to have that recognition. What does that mean to you?
That means, it's good for me, but it's great for the genre of music. It's great for hip hop. Like we started from the bottom, but now we're here doing international things. Canada, we're the top of the global food chain when it comes to music, man. I'm just honored to be a part of that people acknowledge what I did. And I got a slogan, don't make records, make history. So Let Your Backbone Slide is a part of the history. The cultural impact it made in this country is monumental. So I'm glad I wrote it, you know. And this is where I wrote it, right here.
1990. Do you remember this? Tom Cochrane is introducing you. You're performing at the 90s Junos.
Canada, I think, is known as a very rich heritage of folk artists and folk music. You know, Bruce Cockburn, Murray McLachlan,
Gordon Lightfoot, Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
But then he says,
there's a new kind of folk music, and it's called rap music. And this is Canada's contribution in that area, and he's a great artist.
This is a throwdown.
Oh, wicked, man. Shout out to Tom Cochrane. That's dope, man. Life's a highway, man, you know?
But did you feel then like you were doing something groundbreaking?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know how groundbreaking it was, but we knew we were doing something special. We definitely knew we were doing something special. This is something in its infancy here that Canada ain't never seen before. You feel me? So I knew. Come on, imagine performing at the Junos.
Just let it slide. Just let it slide. Just let it slide. Just let it...
Who did that before? I'm definitely onto something. Getting nominated, I didn't win that year, but I was nominated for
it was dance, right?
For dance, because they had no category.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the reason why there's a Juno for Best Rap Recording of the Year.
Yeah.
There wasn't.
Well, that's why they call you the godfather of Canadian hip hop.
Better than the grandfather, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm that reason, man.
I want to put you a little bit on the spot here. Is there another song that you wrote that, you know, maybe you feel like people don't appreciate as much as you wish they had, because it's a song that was kind of really important to you and you thought it had an impact, it was powerful, something that was meaningful to you?
I mean, my favorite song I ever wrote is a song called I Know Your Mom. You know, that's kind of dope, you know? You know, that's like my favorite song I ever wrote. It's in the top 10 people's favorite joints. Nah, but for me, I Know Your Mom is a dope record, you know what I mean? It has impact.
I know your mom. Her name's Tracy. Don't make me say things, cause she's a nice lady.
Well, give me some insight into you. Why was that one?
From an intergenerational perspective, where it's like, you know, a lot of people grew up listening to my music, but a lot of the young generation didn't necessarily know who I am. But wait a minute, you look familiar. I know your mom's. So that's kind of, you know, so it was witty, it was fun, but it was also a touch of social commentary, but intergenerational.
I think about powerful songwriting. Can I tell you what song comes to my mind when I think of it?
Yeah.
Nothing at All.
Nothing at All is one of them, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, in that song, you say a lot of powerful, important things.
Listen, I want an explanation why am Mohawks being kicked out of their reservations. I'm being put in misery, you're stealing the land to create sporting facilities. The native man of the land is who you're killing, and they've got the nerve to celebrate Thanksgiving. Claiming every man is equal. I hate to see what y'all got planned for my people.
That's a very important record.
Why did you write that?
Because I felt that I'm blessed to be able to be in a situation that people check for me. And I know labels were mad at me. People, like, they want to hear another Backbone, they want to hear another party record. But to me, it was like, I can do all of those too, but let me say something right here. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to say something that was, noteworthy. You feel me? So that song right there, that was probably the first Canadian hip hop record of social commentary on that level that acknowledged the First Nation community.
Has hip hop lived up to its potential then, in your mind? I mean, when you think of powerful songs and what the genre can do.
That's an interesting question. I think it has, because you have a lot of architects, doctors, you got a lot of people who grew up and their formative years was listening to hip hop, listening to KRS-One, Public Enemy, who are like serious professionals, make an impact on the globe.
Okay, but then explain for me, Die Empty. You know, one of the lines in there, 30 years of quotes in your quote list.
Yeah.
Talking about rappers coming up, right?
Yeah.
You bozos got no focus.
That's right.
30 years of quotes in your quote list, all you bozos got no focus. I'ma write a letter to your folks with a note as a postage, so they be knowing it was weird when I wrote this.
Because an element of hip hop is always the battle. So I could be spitting 30 years from now. My objective as an MC, the element of MC, a part of that is taking someone's head off lyrically. That's a part of that. But if you want to talk about die empty, what am I really saying to die empty? That's saying, as an artist, I want to continue making music till I don't have any music left in me. So we could dissect certain parts of that, which I'm addressing. Yeah. But I'm saying the reason that I wrote Die Empty was specifically to say, an artist like me, I'm going to continue doing music as long as I can. When you look at artists like Rolling Stones, they still making music. They're still doing stuff. Public Enemy, who's close to me, they're still making music. They're dying empty. There's going to be no music left out of the artists. That's what I want to encourage artists to do.
But do you feel like the younger guys are dropping the ball in a way? That they could be using their platform for
I see
so
what
much
you're saying.
more?
Is there room for improvement from the younger generation? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's up to me to lead by example. Artists of my generation to lead by example. That's what I'm doing. So I'm proud of my last album. You feel what I'm saying? I'm proud that I still have that energy to continue evolving, continue pushing myself. The thing is with me, I didn't have any artists older than me to look up to in terms of making records coming out of Canada. So I've been trained from a young age, formatively, to listen to the younger cats, ask them questions. That's how I grow. If it wasn't for me humbling myself and listening to these artists coming up, I still wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm 51 years old, man, but backbones are still sliding, man.
My lyrics are awesome and tune in volume and blooming and blossoming.
Blowing away blockades and barricades, making black and blue from the blast to the blaze. It's a blood sport. But bills I bank, I make your vision go blurry while your brain goes blank into oblivion. Beats from box to box, the bass rocks from blocks and blocks. Let your backbone slide. Those are lyrics. Alliteration, written right here in Parkway Mall, Scarborough, man. I think I wrote that around 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
You remember the moment, right?
Remember the moment, man, around 2 a.m.
Maestro,
yeah,
thanks
this
so
was
much,
good.
man.
This was good.
Really nice talking to you.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Time for a quick break. Up next, we'll take you inside a dramatic and intense fundraising event. It puts you in the center of a personal crisis. David Common spends the day in a mock ICU. But first, here's Adrian with a preview of an interview you'll see here tomorrow night on The National.
Well, someone is about to have a big birthday, and maybe Margaret Atwood has already had her gift. Her book, The Testaments, has broken a Canadian publishing record.
This is more than a book release, this is a cultural moment.
The soon-to-be 80-year-old co-won the Man Booker Prize. And there is a project for so deep into the future, no one alive will ever get to see what it is.
Could you throw a girl a bone? In terms of what it's about?
Nope.
Oh,
no,
nothing?
No, you have to swear to secrecy.
There is a lot to talk about, and so sitting down in the place that holds so many of her treasured notes just seemed the right thing to do. That is tomorrow on The National.
Toronto's Hospital for Sick Children is under pressure. It has an ICU that's outdated and overcrowded. The task of raising enough money to expand, monumental. David Common caught wind of an unusual fundraiser for participants, both heartrending and eye-opening.
Emergency room 14. Emergency room 14.
Do you have a pulse? No. Continue the CPR. I'm just going to update the team. Get the defibrillator, please. I also want Peppy. Arresto, so it's 10 kilo.
It takes just seconds after the alarm sounds for the pediatric team to pour in.
Are you okay? Do you need to cycle out?
In the nation's largest children's hospital, one of its tiniest patients is in deep distress.
Guys, continue the CPR. I'm just going to update the team.
This is the ICU at Sick Kids. Or a mock-up of it anyway, a near-exact replica of the real thing.
And what we're able to do is manipulate the mannequin to respond exactly how it should respond.
And you'll never guess how we found it. It showed up on Airbnb, where a bed costs nearly $2,500, the real cost of running the ICU for just one patient a day.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Those who fundraised, like this group from IBM, help the hospital financially and in return get a close-up experience.
It's a tough experience. You're going to hear sounds, you're going to see things, you're going to start thinking about things that perhaps you've never thought about.
Dr. Lennox Wang runs the real ICU just a few hallways away. He set up roles for each of us participating. That includes me.
So these cards of a kid
You essentially could be Jordan 5 from Brampton, Ontario, not even an hour from here. And the story for Jordan is Jordan had a fever, shortness of breath, ended up here at Sick Kids when it got worse, and now it's been diagnosed as left side pneumonia. So why go through such an elaborate exercise? This is about change. The real ICU is just as cramped. 4 patients to a room, their parents squished in, more than one guest at a time, mom and dad for instance. Nearly impossible. Then you add in the medical teams and inevitably the need to deliver bad news in a space that's far from private.
And I'll let you know as soon as you can take them off.
Even in a mock-up, this is hard for any parent.
Well, they put their headphones on, and I can understand why, because being so close, there's obviously privacy concerns.
Mr. and Mrs. Patel, as you know, Jordan's seizures have been progressively getting worse. After looking over his most recent imaging numerous times, they have revealed an advanced brain tumor. If you want to tell any relatives to come see Jordan and say goodbye, then you should soon. I am so very sorry.
Oh. It's tight, it's hard. I mean, we are shimmying beside, there's no space bubble, there's no personal space.
You know, between all of these announcements and everything else, obviously it would be very hard to keep your mind straight, get to sleep, and yet, you know, it's something else watching the staff trying to do gymnastics around one another, working in a really tight, small space to try to pull this off, basically to try to keep a kid alive. While the child patients in the ICU are often sedated, they and their parents can still be exposed to trauma. One is about to happen here.
Emergency in room 14. Emergency in room 14.
Yeah. No. Now you can please give it and give it a fast push after.
Okay.
Continue chest compressions.
Okay, so it looks like we're still in VFib Oshri.
Yeah.
So let's carry on.
Can you please tell me when you're ready for it?
This is terrifying, but it's also working. A realistic portrait that has helped drive a big jump in donations. All part of the plans to build a new hospital, one with more privacy, and frankly, room for moms and dads to be there together.
Can we do a blood pressure?
Dr. Michael Alice-Moga knows just how emotionally draining this can be.
What are some words that jump out to people about what you experienced tonight?
I'd say intense.
Intense.
I'd say surprising, shocking.
I don't know how people are not just tripping over everything, really. I'm just amazed.
Sick Kids is a world-class institution. We deliver world-class care, but you don't realize that we're doing it in an environment that it's not even like it's neutral. It actually hurts us and makes our job more difficult as opposed to helping us every single day.
The aim is that will change. No one wants to be in the pediatric ICU. But if you have no choice, the hope is to make it more comfortable for patients, parents, and staff. David Common, CBC News, Toronto.
A change of pace coming up. The Moment, up next on The National.
You know, it wasn't going to push itself.
A moment of on-ice team building after a pre-game breakdown right after this. Bet you've never seen this before. For a minor hockey team on Prince Edward Island, the only way they were going to get to play was to jump on the ice and push. That's because the rink's Zamboni broke down. The team, by the way, went on to win the game, but that was only the icing on the cake of a memorable night. The story of how it happened is our moment.
Hurry, hurry hard. The Zamboni broke down. You could just hear a big thud, and it stopped at one end of the rink, and it was the far end of the rink from where it was off. So the first thing that came through my mind is we weren't going to get the game in. Then my second thing was, well, I wonder if the guys will come out and push it down the length of the ice, kind of like a bobsleigh.
Skate, 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 skate. We just kind of wanted to get the game going because we were already running a bit late, so You know, it wasn't going to push itself.
We have 16 skaters and 2 goalies, and I'm pretty sure everybody chipped in.
It was pretty heavy. Like, took the whole team to get it off.
It was a pretty good game for us, yeah. We managed to win the game.
The win's always good, but then, you know, when you get that, it's kind of extra special. Kind of a cool thing to remember.
Good night, a lot of fun, and a lot of laughs. Great team building that you didn't plan to do.
First of all, it clearly is harder to push a Zamboni on ice than I would have thought. You saw at the beginning how those kids were just digging into the ice. The other thing is, of course, we're at a time right now, the last 10 days or so, where a lot of discussions about hockey and where it fits into the Canadian community, and that is a good example of, as he said, a team-building exercise. That is the National for Sunday, November the 17th. Good night.